Hi friends, my name is Anastasia and welcome to the Dream Draw Art School. Today we are drawing beautiful watercolor sketch with heart-shaped donuts. This is a demo lesson where you will get a taste of my watercolor sketching style and my teaching technique. If you would like to dive deeper and learn more and also see the full version of this lesson, join my Patreon, the link in the description. We are starting with a pencil and we need to draw the first two dots here. They are slightly diagonal. And then we draw a simple shape of a heart. I'm making the heart slightly slanted and we are making the second line here at the bottom to show the thickness. And also we are making the second smaller heart inside. And you can see that the line here in the middle area at the top part of the heart is also really soft and reminding us of a wave. And we need also to show the arrow inside. So let's make the line here. Again, the diagonal lines will continue here. Of course, we will not do them there, but we need to show the direction and the arrow top part, next part of the arrow here on the right. And we have some additional lines here to show the ending of the arrow. I'm making just several lines here with different directions. And I'm making several layers of them to show that we have a lot of them there. And also, I'm going to show some sprinkles on the background with small circles. And we can also make some sprinkles on the top part of the donut here. Great, so before making the outline with your liner or with your ballpoint pen, just make sure it is waterproof. And if it is not waterproof, then make the outline after the watercolor step. I'm making the first line here for the icing. And the line again is very soft and I try to make the wavy lines. And we are making the sprinkles on the background as well and on the top part of the icing. So now I'm making the inner heart with the wavy lines here, inner part of the arrow, and also making the circles. Okay, now let's make the lines for the arrow. So now I'm making the bottom part of the dough, of the bottom part of the donut, and also the inner part of it, the thickness that we have there. And now let's make the arrow. So we're making the stem, then two lines here on the sides to show the thickness of the triangle. And also I'm making the bottom line of the donut darker for the shadow. And we can make some parts of the outline of the icing here at the bottom also darker. And we can add the line on the sprinkles on the right side. Okay, so now I'm adding additional lines on the arrow, also for the shadows. Okay, so the outline is done. Now let's take the eraser. I'm using this one. It is the knittable eraser. And let's erase all the pencil. And then I'm making the first strokes here on the icing, on the top left parts. So we have the light there. And I'm leaving some white areas of paper and then I start adding the pink color, just creating beautiful transition from the yellow color to the pink. And we are making the color really light. So I'm just making the strokes here and also on the right side as well. And now we can add several dots of the violet and mix it slightly with pink. So the color now is brighter and more vibrant. Try to make it also darker. Now I'm taking the vibrant and bright pink color and making some additional strokes to show the shadow, and also we can mix it slightly with the violet. So we are making all the strokes here while the paper is still wet. Now I'm mixing the darker color again, the pink plus violet, and we need to show the icing here, again darker. So we have the a part of the icing that is melting and going down, and we need to show that this part is darker. And we are making the same with the inner part of the icing, so the darker area with the shadow. Just slightly mixing the darker color and the previous layer here. Now I'm taking the yellow color again, and I'm using here the Indian yellow, mixing it with pink and coloring the inner part of the dough. And also I will use this color for the bottom part of the donut. You can take, by the way, any yellow color that you have. For example, you can also take the cadmium yellow color, mix it with pink, and you will get the same slightly muted orange. And I'm again adding the pink plus yellow to get the color that is more vibrant. And also I'm adding the shadows here on the inner part, on the inner circle, on the inner heart, and also on the right side. Now I'm taking the violet color, mixing it with a muted orange. Now we are making the shadows also on the right side and also under the icing. And just adding one line to define the shadow that we have under the icing and also here on the inner heart. Great, so now we will do the shadow and also the background, and I'm going to make it really fast, so if you're a beginner you can watch how I will do this step and then you can rewind and repeat everything with me again. So we need to pre-wet the paper here under the donut to make the beautiful and interesting washes. And also I'm making the wet paper, I'm pre-wetting the paper at the top part. So the color will be the violet, the same violet actually, and if you don't have this one, you can also just mix pink plus blue. And I will also add the blue color as well, the ultramarine color. And then I'm adding also not only the violet, and I'm adding the mix of the orange color plus violet to get the muted variation of it. And I'm adding the mixture of violet plus pink at the top part of the shadow. So I'm just making several strokes and you can see that the paper is wet and the color is just spreading itself. You can also add the darker color closer to the donut and also inside the heart. Here the paper is dry, but we can also just blend it using the wet brush like this. Just slightly take off the excess of the color and make the smooth transition to the white paper. Okay, so now while the paper is still wet, we can do a beautiful effect that is called splatters or splashes. So you can just take any color here. I'm taking the purple and I'm just tapping on my brush, making the splatters here at the top part, also around the donut, and I'm slightly making the splatters on the donut as well. And also I will take the pink color, mix it slightly with the violet, and I will use the smaller brush to make the smaller splatters. We are making the last lines here. I'm using the smaller brush and using the light yellowish orangey color, and I'm coloring the arrow. But I'm leaving some white areas there, so the arrow should be light. And then we can also take the bright yellow color, the vibrant yellow, the lemon yellow color, and color the sprinkles. And I'm using the pink for them as well. And now I'm mixing the dark pink color. I'm mixing the quinacridone red plus violet. And I'm not mixing it too much with water, so the color should be thick. And I will do the darker areas. I will do additional lines along the contours as well here at the top. Okay, so now let's take the violet or purple color again. I'm just preparing on my palette and I'm mixing violet plus blue to get to the purple. You can take purple or violet or blue, by the way, it doesn't matter. And we are adding the shadows on the arrow. By the way, let's do the shadow here on the inner part of the stem and also at the top triangle. Then we can use the same color just for additional shadows, and we're getting like the middle reddish color, and I want to add some additional splatters. And now I'm taking the yellow color and I will use it also for the splatters. Okay, my sketch is completely dry, and we can take the black liner and add additional lines for the shadows and for the texture. Yeah, okay, now let's take the white pen, or you can also use the white gouache or maybe white acrylic color or white acrylic marker. So just use any tool that you have, and we are adding additional highlights. So we have already some parts that are lighter, we just need to enhance them. Then I'm making some lines here on the icing. So we are making the light lines or white dots next to the dark ones. Our sketch is ready. I hope you enjoyed the process and feel inspired to create more. Watch the full version of this lesson on my Patreon and also more lessons as well. So join via the link in the description and see you in the next lessons.